Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Intro to Coding series. Today, we are going to go over lists. Lists are very, very useful. They're also kind of called arrays, depending on the language. If you ever, wanted to make a grocery list or something, this is how you can do it. So let's jump into it. This is the exact same place where we left off. This is the time where we were learning about user inputs and if-else statements. If you watch the previous videos, leave a comment down below and let me know how it's going. Hopefully, it's been enjoyable. All right, so let's jump into it. We're going to be using variables still, because variables are one of the basics for coding. And let's use our var1. We are going to make a list. And a list is defined, so this is our, again, var1 variable, by using the square brackets. Kind of like when we try to get a single of one of the characters from one of the strings, we use the square bracket. But for a list, it's still using square brackets, but you can put whatever you want in the list. So we can put 1, 2, 3. Now we have a list. When we do this, we can print var1, 2, 3, or print var1. And when we run this, we can see we have a list of 1, 2, 3. It even separates it out more nicely than I did. Okay, that's cool. Let's do var2 equals 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we can have a list of strings. Sure. Cool, that also works. Now, this is fine, right? Like you can honestly even put like 3 here. It doesn't have to all be the same. It doesn't have to always be strings and whatever. You can mix and match as much as you like. Usually it's better to kind of keep things a little bit separate, or a little bit so that one list has only one type of value, because it's easier to know what you're gonna get. But you can do whatever you want. What if we want to get a value from the list? So remember back to the string. How do we get the value from the string? I'll give you a couple seconds here. Keep track of whether you're getting these right or wrong, and then in the comments down below at the end of the video, let me know how many you got right, because we'll have like a few questions going through this. So for this case, if you said that you also want to use the brackets, and say we want to get the first element, what was the first element in the string? And why was it weird? If you said 0, you are correct. So if we want to get the first element from the array, we're going to say var 0. So what this should print is the number 1. Bam! Look at that. We got our number 1. Perfect. Okay. So what about, I'm just going to use var 3 again, because we're not going to use anything else here. Okay. What if we want to get a like sub list from our list here? So similar to the string, what if we want to get like 2 and 3? So it's 1 colon 3. So 3 is because it's the length, because this is not inclusive. So now if we, I know it's mean, if we print out var 3, we will get 2 and 3. So this is because it is like 0, 1, 2, 3, and this is very confusing writing all this out, but this is the array, or the list, and then this is like the index. The index. So what this 0 means is actually the index of the array, or even in the string's case, the index of the string. So you're pointing to the 0 point. So you could, if you think of it as like an actual, like, a list where you can point to each of them, you're pointing to the 0 spot, meaning you're pointing to the first spot. All right, great. So far, I think because of our string knowledge, hopefully this makes a lot more sense now. Okay, what else can we do with a list? Well, we have var3 equals to the 2 and the 3. What if we want to get rid of something from var3? What if we want to get rid of the 2? Well, we can reference the var3 and the 0 spot, and we can type del to delete. We're deleting this value from this part of the array. We run this. Oh, I didn't print it. We're printing out var3 again. And run. There we go. Now we only have the number 3 in the array. Okay, what if we want to add something to our list? Can we do that? Absolutely we can. So as you can see here, we get a bunch of things we can do here. We can append. So what does append mean? Well, let's see. If we append 4 and we print var3, now we have 3, 4 as our value. So you can see that I had a dot after this. This means that var3, the computer knows that var3 here is an array. Or the compiler will know that, and I guess Visual Studio knows that. So what this means is that if you put a dot afterwards, you're basically saying, what can I do with this? What can I do with this value? So in this case, because it's an array, which you can see, I can't point to it, but you can see that I guess I can point to it. You can see that it has a list and it's of integers. So it knows that it's a list of numbers. And then because it knows of that, if you add a dot, you can then use things that lists are able to do. So this is a method. We're going to go over those later on. And it allows you to append something, and it appends an object to the end of the list. Perfect. That's exactly what we want to do. Okay, well, what if we wanted to put something somewhere else in the list? What else can we do here? Insert. That sounds right. Okay, inserts object before index. So let's say we want to put a 2 and before the index. So where do we want to put this? Say we want to try and get back to our original 2, 3, and we'll add the 4 on the end there because now it's already 3, 4. So we want to add the 2 before our 3, and the 3 is at the start of the list. So the index we want to add it to, oh, sorry, the index is first. The index we want to add it to is going to be 0, and we want to add a 2. Now, we're going to print our var3 again, and go. Boom. Perfect. We now have our 2, 3, 4, and we're all set. Okay, similar to the string, what if we want to see how long our list here is? We can also use len. If you remember len for length, we can do len of var3, and we can see how long it is. It's 3 in length. Perfect. Now, what if we want to, say we have 2 lists, and we want to put them together? How would we do that? Hint, it's also pretty similar to strings. So let's do var4 equals var3 plus var3. Print var4. So what should we see here? What should our output be? 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. Because it's adding the 2 lists together. 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. Okay, perfect. Well, what if we don't want var4 to be like that? What if we want to do it more than once? What if we want like var3, but we want it like 5 times? What if we just multiply it by 5? Let's try that. Let's print var4. And let's run. Oh, wow. There we go. 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. Perfect. It's like I'm dancing. All right, so now we have our super long list in var4. What if we want to check if a number is in var4? How are we going to do that? Well, how do we do it for a string? We could say, is 1 in var4? Let's run. It's not in var4. What about if 2? Is 2 in var4? 2 is in var4 because it's in var4 a few times. All right. what if we want to check if something's not in var4? What if we say if one is not in var4? Boom. Perfect. What if we want to print something if something's not in var4? We can use our if statements from last video. So we can say if one is not in var4, print one is not there. Boom, one is not there because we have our var4, which we know is this really long list, and we're checking if one is not in var4, and it's not in var4, so this is true. So now we're going to run this and say one is not there. Okay, what if we want to get a little fancy here? What if we want to take some input? Number equals int of an input, enter a number. And then we're going to say var4 append number. And what if we want to see if one is in var4? So in this case, we're basically adding a new number, and let's print var4 just to make sure that, you know, it's expected. We're doing what's expected here. So let's try this. We're gonna run, enter a number. Let's enter in 5. So we can see that it added the 5 to the end of our list, and 1 is still not there. Okay, let's try this again then. What if we enter 1, right? We haven't changed the code at all, but because we're adding something to the list based off of the user's input, maybe the list is changing. So we enter 1. Bam, we didn't print anything, right? We didn't print 1 is not there. 1 is there because we added 1 to the end of the list. So this is now false. So we didn't run it. Perfect. All right. What if you want to get, like, you know, maybe you don't care about the first element of the list, but you want to get the rest of the list. Let's just use var4 again, and we'll go back to var1. var1 was just 1, 2, 3. What if we don't care about the 1, but we care about everything after the 1? Well, we can do 1, colon, nothing. Leave it blank. So this means 1 to the end, basically. Now we can print var4 and go again. Oh, I didn't get rid of our enter the number. We'll enter that in, and then bam, we get our 2, 3. I'm going to comment this out just because we don't need to keep doing that every single time. There's a few different data types. So the next one we're going to go over is tuples. The ones after that is going to be a dictionary, and we might go over sets. Sets might be for dictionaries, we'll see. But each of them are slightly different. So in a list, a list is what we call mutable, meaning it can change. And it's ordered, right? Like there's an order to the list. If we have our list and we have 1, 2, 3, every single time we will ask for the first element, 0. We're gonna get 1, right? This, because that's what this is here. We're gonna get this first one. It's ordered. If we ask for the second one, we're gonna get the second one. This is the order of the list. If we add something to the end, it'll always be at the end, unless we add something else to the end. So there's an order to the list, and it can change because we can add or remove things as much as we want to or from the list. Now, that isn't true for all the other types of data structures, you could say, or the other types of ways you can store data in Python. But we'll get into that next time. So I think in the next video, we're going to be going over tuples. So one other thing with lists here is that even though we have 1, 2, 3, when I say that it's mutable and that it can be changed, it means that, sure, we can reference this var0, right, and print this out, as you can see here. We have our 1 here, but we can also change it. We can say var1 0 equals 5. Now we can print out our var1, And we have 5. Change it to 5, right? If we print out just the var10 again instead, it's just 5, right? It's now 5. The 1 is now a 5. We've changed it. Meaning that is what I mean by mutable. So this thing we can change, and you can do this as much as you want. You can even have arrays in or lists in lists. Sorry, arrays and lists are kind of interchangeable in terms of the words. So you could have like a list 1, 2, 3, and then as an index of the list, you could have another list 1, 2, 3. So if you wanted to print the list, it would show like this. And then if you wanted to access something in the inner list, you would have to find the index, which is 0, 1, 2, 3. So var 3. And then we're printing that list. And then we're just accessing this as though it's its own list, meaning we can grab the 0. So let's change this to like a 5, so it's obvious that it's a different thing. And bam, now we get our 5. Let's make it a 6 because we just used a 5 before. Bam, there, it's a 6. Hopefully that makes sense. Thank you so much for watching this video. As always, if anything didn't make sense or you have some questions or just want to say hi, please feel free to leave a comment down below. I will respond to all of them because I don't get very many. So if there's a comment there, you will either get a like or a response. So good on you. If you've made it this far as well, please feel free to like the video. It is free. It helps out a lot. And you know, like it if you like lists. Also, please feel free to subscribe if you want to be notified for other videos in this series or just other videos from the channel. I'm going to be posting these videos 2 times a week is the aim. And I hope you enjoy. So thanks again for watching, and remember, never stop learning.